Okay, good morning. Welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Iyun to lean on. Today's siman is siman Kuf Nun Vav. Seder Masa Mata and business dealings. It's the very short halacha. It's only one halacha. Maybe the only halacha, the only siman in Orach Chayim that talks about working. Most of the halacha is about the Torah, but working is mentioned in the Torah, especially in Perkei Avos, as the Shulchan Aruch quotes. Any Torah without malacha, sofa b'tela glera tavon. It's going to be the Torah is going to be batal. The Torah is not going to be successful, and you're going to sin because people who have no money, they steal, they take shortcuts, they have no money, they're in debt. There's no way around it, so they're going to have to violate certain halachas. It inevitably happens. It will happen. Nonetheless, the Shulchan Aruch says, nonetheless, the primary purpose of your day should be Torah, and temporary part should be doing malacha, your work. Now, the Rambam says 9 hours learning, 3 hours working. Practically doesn't make any sense. I mean, nowadays, you can't get a job for working 3 hours. Even if you own your own business, usually it's the opposite. When you own your own business, you're working a lot more than working 9 to 5. If a regular 9 to 5 job would be working for someone else. So, it's kind of hard to follow. This statement of the Shulchan Aruch comes from a Gemara in Brachos. The Gemara says in the original generation, Torah is already shown him, right? They made their Torah keva and their malach arai. Zuzun is kaim biyadam. They were successful in both. In later generations, presumably our generation also, people are more focused on their businesses. V'toras and arai. V'zuzun known as kaim biyadam, and no one's successful in either of them. Not in your business, not in your Torah. Now, I want to talk about a ber halacha over here. This ber halacha is quoted a lot. He's coming on the first words of Kol Torah Shem Halacha Sof B'Tel Gereres Avon. Right, it says many times in Perkei Avos, it's the main kemach in Torah. If there's no kemach, if you're not in a parnasa, you're not going to be able to learn Torah. You're going to do averos, right? Doing averos. The whole purpose of learning Torah is to keep the mitzvahs. You're learning Torah just to learn Torah, and you're going to violate a lot of the halachas, including gezel and din the malchus dina, cheating the government, and things like that, and stealing property from other people. Some of the common things that people without any money or in debt or have very little assets do. It's very common. I'm very familiar with this. So, how do you do it? How do you make it work? So this is a very important ber halacha. He says, I'm going to read the ber halacha. So v'dei l'gerer sarim. Comes to Svarim, right? Shezen nemar l'kal ha'olam. Shulchan Aruch is talking to most people. Shein kulam yachol mizkos alas madrega ramazu liyos iskam rak Torah levada. Most people can't learn Torah the entire day. Aval nashim yechidem yuchal yimatze b'chol eis b'ofen zeh. There are always yechidei skula, as he mentions, people that are able to sit and learn for a long time. V'zehu she'amru brachos lamed hem abeis harbe asu k'Rabbi Shimon Yochai v'los v'yadam rotze lomer dafka harbe. The Gemara records there that there were two perspectives in the Tanoi. Rabbi Shmuel says you have to go to work. People worked. They had farms. They planted when they had to plant. They harvested when they had to harvest. It took up a lot of their time. So therefore he says, Hanag behem minag derech. The normal way of the world is to go to work. When you have extra time, you learn. Shimon Yochai says, no. He says the preferred method is ma Torah ma tehela. You got to learn, and your malacha will be Niskai Madiyarach. And Shimon Yochai says, Bizman Shishal Osir and Sono Shal Makom, when Kalishal is doing Sono Shal Makom, they get their parnasa is done Ali De Acherim. Parnasa is done, seemingly, most people explain it to be other people, other Jews or other non-Jews will give them money. That's the way I think people explain it. And when Lo Osir and Sono Shal Makom, so then the parnasa will not be done Ali De Acherim. You're going to have to earn your own parnasa. So he says, from the Gemara says, Harba Asuk Rabbi Shimon Yochai v'lo yasu b'yada. Harba Asuk Rabbi Shmuel v'lo yasu b'yada. So the Gemara seems to say you should possibly like Rabbi Shmuel. And you should spend most of your time working and not learning. So the Mishnah is saying, Harbe, most people. But some people, if you're really dedicated, you could sit and learn all day. Hashem will find a way to give them parnasa. He quotes the famous Rambam, Rambam says, not just Shevet Levi that could sit and be in the Beis Hamikdash and sing and lock the gates, and they'll get Meiser, right? Meiser Rishon, Ayin Sham, right? Anyone who's dedicated, even if you're Yisrael, you're dedicated, you want to do Libo Chafetz, I don't remember the exact Lashon, Misnadev, your lave is Misnadev to do the Ratzon Hashem. You can sit and learn all day, and somehow it'll work out your parnasa. Ubeprat im kvar nimstu anashim shrosim lahaspik losrachav k'lishasim b'torah b'vadal l'shayach zeh b'yisachar v'zulon yochiach. Certainly, if there's nowadays we have adopt a kolel, we have a lot of gvirim, we have refnitz who's giving a lot of money to the mir. People want to help out, so certainly you can do it, and certainly we know Yisachar and Zvulun, the partnership, right? That's a proof that if you have Zvulun, Yisachar can learn. Zvulun will support him and get half the schar. So, now, first of all, even after this Ber Halacha, the modern day kolel concept still doesn't hold water because we're recommending the kolel system for the masses over here. Now, it says for the masses it doesn't work, the Ber Halacha says. Some people, if you're a school, you're very successful in sitting and learning the whole day and really dedicating your whole life to learning, you could be successful and you'll get pronounced somewhere elsewhere. But to say for the entire masses that they should be learning Torah and kolel, that's the only option, especially here in Israel, that the Ber Halacha doesn't allow, and it's against the Ber Halacha and against the Shulchan Aruch. You're violating Halacha in the Shulchan Aruch, you're violating Pirkei Avos, you're doing the wrong thing. So the whole method of everyone, I think which was instituted by Shach, that everyone should sit and learn all day, it's against the Halacha, it's against the Shulchan Aruch, and it extends even the Mishnah, the Ber Halacha. Now even the Ber Halacha, just practicality, it doesn't make any sense. Even if you're one of the Yechidei Skula and you're going to sit and learn all day. So, okay, if you have Yisachar Zvulun partnership. You have there's certain. I interviewed someone in Jewish Money who actively runs an Yisachar Zvulun partnership. He says there are people that he raises money for these people, these really special people, these diamonds in the rough, he called them, that they're gonna pay, a generous amount. They can live quite comfortably, not comfortably the way a rich person lives, but at least comfortably for a guy learning in Kolel, a little extra money to live a normal lifestyle. Now, he did mention there are some opinions, Yisachar Zvulun, seems to be, you split the schar for the Limud Torah, meaning you lose half your schar. So that's noteworthy to take into consideration. If you are someone who's intent on getting a lot of Olam Haba and you want to sit and learn, you have to be wary. There are some shitas that you might lose half your schar, Yisachar Zvulun partnership. And these Yisachar Zvulun partnerships are very hard to come by because they obviously involve giving a lot of money to one person. So most people in present-day society have the kolel method, where Rosh Yeshiva and Rosh Kollels are going to America, going to England, and trying to raise a lot of money to support these kolel stipends, which are very minimal. They have a little more backing by the government now that hope maybe Netanyahu will form a government with the right-wing parties and the Haredi parties. They'll maybe double the stipend, but even doubling the stipend is peanuts, is nothing. You can't live a normal life like this, even if and most of these husbands, their wives are not going to go into a working field where they're going to be with men, so their job selection is limited. So they're probably going to usually be a ganenet, open a gan in their house, maybe earn a couple thousand shekel a month. So then it's going to be a very frugal lifestyle, and just out of personal knowledge about finances from a Haredi perspective, you're going to end up being, over the course of your life, maybe the first couple of years of marriage it can work, but if you persist and do this for the rest of your life, which according to the Mishnah Berurah says you're one of these Yechidei Skula and you can do it, you're going to be borrowing a lot of money, you're going to run from Gemach to Mach, you're going to be in debt your whole life, which are not good things, and I think that's the whole idea. You're going to eventually take shortcuts, and you're going to do things that are unscrupulous in business. Not Isavi to Bamuna. It's just going to happen inevitably because you have to support your family. You have 12 kids. That's all you can do. So it doesn't make sense practically, this thing. Even if you're a Chidei school, even if you're one of these people, and even if you have someone who's a nice guy, a friend of yours, who's going to support you, when you're getting supported by somebody else, that means he controls your life. Not only that, he tells you what to do. And just practically, the whole concept of the Ramchal is that we were put in this world to earn our own schar, to earn our own olam haba. That's why we were put in this world, because Hashem could have given it to us, but when you get a present from someone, you're embarrassed to look at them. So when you get supported by someone else and you're learning the whole day and night, at the end of the day, you're indebted to that person, and you can't get your schar in olam haba in a nice fashion. You're going to be embarrassed in olam haba. That's just the way it's going to be. Practically, it makes sense. It's the way of the world. People who take from other people are indebted to them. So the whole thing doesn't make sense. But what about the Gemara? The Gemara says Mishnah Berurah seems to be right. The Bar Halacha, right? That harba asuk reishma will also be yatan, right? Harba asuk reishma will also be harba asuk reishma will also be yatan. Sounds like that certain people that are considered and learned for a long time also be yatan. What do you mean also be yatan? They have to get money from somewhere. Where's the money coming from? It's coming from Zachazulun. It's coming from a donor. You're going to be indebted to them. The price has to come from somewhere, right? And if you want to say like Shimon Yechai and you have the carob tree, first of all, people can't live on carobs and water. Especially families are not willing to live on carobs and water. And that's relying on Nisim. You're not supposed to rely on Nisim, the Gemara says. So anyway, you're stuck. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't add up practically for nobody, for anybody. So I have an interesting explanation of the Gemara, which I really believe makes a lot of sense. And it answers both questions about Toras and Ikar, right? The Malachto Arai, the Toras and Keva, and also this thing about how is it possible. Shimon Yochai says, he doesn't say that you shouldn't work. Shimon Yochai says you should be an entrepreneur. That's what he's saying. Shimon Yochai says, don't take risks. A lot of people are afraid to open their own business, right? Because you have to borrow a lot of money. You might never make it back. You might not be successful in your business. However, by taking the risk and opening a business and becoming an entrepreneur, you have the potential to earn a lot of money, maybe retire young. And also, the most importantly, is to make your own hours. And every entrepreneur, he controls his business. He controls when he's open and when he's closed. According to Shimon Yochai, it's not a question of not doing malacha or doing malacha. Shimon Yochai is moda, you should be doing malacha. However, what you should be doing is opening a business. That's what you should be doing. You're opening a business. If you're an entrepreneur, take the risk, make your own hours. And that's what the Gemara says, that you can make Torah and Kava, you can make a set time for learning. When I control my business, I don't have to go and answer to my boss. My boss calls me and says, I need you to take care of something. No, I'm my boss. So when I'm the boss, I can decide when I want to do something. I can make Torah and Kava. I can make it a fixture of my day. Maybe if I'm successful in business, I don't have to apply so many hours to my day. I delegate responsibility to other people. I'm the CEO. I delegate responsibility to other people. They're doing the technical aspects. They're answering the phone calls. They're dealing with customer service. And I can sit and learn and dedicate most of my time to learning. So that's what Shimon Yochai is recommending. He's saying, get into business. Own the fields. Don't actually be a farmer and work for somebody else. Own a large swath of fields and have people work for you. Delegate responsibility. The Gemara says that most people can't tolerate it. Most people are not going to be entrepreneurs because there's a lot of risk involved in being an entrepreneur. People are risk averse. A lot of people don't want to take risks. So the Gemara says most people are going to do like Rabbi Shmuel and work for somebody else, be employed for somebody else. And it sounds like from the Gemara that that's recommended. Recommended is to be like Rabbi Shmuel. But I don't think that's what the Gemara is saying. The Gemara is just saying that the Metzias is that most people can't tolerate the risk. And for them, it makes sense to be employed by somebody else and to not take that risk and to have malach on ikar. There's going to be 9 to 5. There's going to be a lot of hours. The boss is going to call you in the middle of the night. Torah on arai. Torah is going to be arai. According to Shimon Yochai, you could be your own owner of business. There's a lot more risk. Also, there's a risk of losing your wife and family. You might overtake your life, become obsessed with business. So that's a risk over there. Another risk over there. So most people were not successful in being a Shimon Yochai. However, I think it comes from the Gemara that really, the Gemara is saying, that's the next lines of the Gemara. The Gemara says, in the Doros are Rishonim, right? Their malachta, they made their Torah ikar, like Rosh Yochai. And malachta, Torah's kva. They learned whatever they wanted. They made it a fixture whenever they wanted to learn. And malachta and ara, they did malacha in a temporary fashion, whenever they had time, whenever they decided they wanted to do their business. Also biyad, zuzu also biyadan. If you're a business owner, you can be successful if you know how to balance life and work, and you know how to balance some business hours in Torah, you can make it work. And therefore, you'll really have time to actually sit actual valuable hours, good hours, to sit and learn Torah, or you'll be undisturbed. However, in the Doros Achronim, which is what people did, like Rabbi Shmuel, people are risk averse. They don't want to get into business, so they're employed by other people. Their time is not their time, and their Torah is arai, and their malachtan is kva, is fixed. Kva is fixed. They have 9 to 5 jobs. So Zuv Zilo also be yad, and they weren't successful in their jobs. And that's what the Mishnah says. It's actually what the Gemara says. If you In the Doros Harishonim, right, they made their Torah kva and their Malacha Ikar. Parnasan al Yidei Acherim. What does it mean, Parnasan al Yidei Acherim? It doesn't mean other people gave them gifts. Everyone thinks that's what it means. People gave them gifts. They said in their mailbox showed up a check for $5,000 a month. It just shows up randomly. No. It means Parnasan al Yidei Acherim means they're employing other people to do their work. They're delegating responsibility. They're opening a huge business and they're having other people do their work for them. Right? So that's successful. That's the paradigm of Rishon Yochai, which is successful. Most people can't do it, but that's the ultimate success. If you want to be really successful, and to be successful in life, you have to take risks. Most people can't do it, but you have to take risks. And the Gemara is saying that's success. Success will only happen if you become the entrepreneur. If you don't become the entrepreneur, right, and you make malachtan kava 9 to 5, Taras and Arai, you learn to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to learn for 2 hours and hear Daf Yomi Shir, and your Torah is Arai, that's the most you're going to get out of your day. So Parnasas on Malachtan Al Yidei Atzman, it was Al Yidei Atzman, because they're the ones who physically work from 9 to 5. You have to do those menial jobs from 9 to 5. You have to do it because you're employed by somebody else. So that's what the Gemara is saying. The Gemara is making a distinction between entrepreneurs and people employed by other people. The Gemara is not saying that people shouldn't work. Of course you have to work. Everyone has to work. Even if you're Yechidia Skula, you got to work. The question is, if you're Yechidia Skula, you think you're really a big Rosh Hashiva, a big rabbi, become an entrepreneur, open up your business, make your own hours. It's many challenges are laid in that endeavor. You have to, not spend all your time doing it. You have to probably put in an investment in the beginning and, make it work. And you have employees working for you. You have to deal with them and human resources. But at the end of the day, it's going to be the best for your life because you'll have ultimately more time to dedicate to Torah if you're able to not get taken over by your business, consumed by your business. You're able to control yourself, which is not easy also. There's a lot of risks over here, but ultimately if you want to be successful, if you want to cross the Gesher Tzar of this world, you have to take risks. Lo lefachei klal. You have to take that risk. Lo lefachei klal. If you don't take risks, if you don't swallow the red pill, you're always going with the blue pill, and you want to be employed by others, you will never cross the Gesher Tzar. You'll never be successful in life. That is the work-life balance, and there's no implication in the Torah that you shouldn't be working at all. Because no matter what you do, whether you sachar zvulun, you get supported and called by other people, or you rely on miracles, all of those things have consequences and they're bad for you. So you have to work. The question is, whether you be an entrepreneur, you're going to work for yourself, you build up your own business, your own brand, or you're going to work for somebody else. And the Torah tells you, recommended, the Gemara in Brachos is mashma. According to my explanation of the Gemara, is mashma, it's better to be an entrepreneur, even though there can be a lot of risks. Most of the Gemara is saying the fact is most people can't tolerate it. But the best thing to do is to be Torah and Kva, Malachtan Arai, open your own business, be an entrepreneur. I think I said basically something revolutionary over here. I think this video should spread to a lot of people. And that's all I have to say. Hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one.